Hi everybody, Ezra Levant here from Rebel News. As you can see, I just landed at Heathrow Airport in London after a night flight from Canada. I'm about to hop in a cab and go downtown for Tommy Robinson's Judgment Day at Westminster Magistrates Court. He's being prosecuted, the trial was last month, for breaching the Terrorism Act, which sounds crazy and scary, but in fact it's a bit of a trick. The Terrorism Act allows police to seize anyone's phone without a search warrant and demand they hand over the password. But that's of course only to be used in cases of terrorism. Tommy's not a terrorist. This was police abusing that power. Tommy refused to hand over his cell phone password, and incredibly they're having a whole trial on that question. So the trial was last month. Today at 10 a.m. London time, that's 5 a.m. East Coast North America, the judge will present his verdict. And Tommy Robinson could be acquitted or he could be convicted. And if he's convicted, he could actually go back to prison. And I know that sounds crazy and unlikely, but this is Tommy Robinson. He's being treated as an enemy of the state. I mean, think about the last month in Tommy Robinson's life. Less than a month ago, he had one of the largest rallies in UK history for free speech and against mass immigration. It was enormous. Even the lowest estimates by police were 150,000 people, and there were estimates over 1 million. Whatever the number was, it was huge. And then Tommy went to Israel on a state visit, and he met with high officials there. In other words, he is embarrassing the UK politically. He's obviously not a terrorist. That's just a BS way to get him. It's a stitch-up, as they say here. But I'm a little bit worried. I'm always worried. Sometimes I wonder if Tommy Robinson can even get a fair trial in the UK. As Tommy notes, he's never had a trial before a jury of his peers. It's always a judge, and don't kid yourself, judges are political. Now I'm hopeful because the trial, which I attended last month, was such a meltdown for the government. The police witnesses were deeply embarrassing. Let me give you one tiny example, and then I got to run downtown. The cop who pulled over Tommy was asked, well, why did you pull him over? What was suspicious? Why did you think he was a terrorist? Like seriously, why did you think Tommy Robinson was a terrorist? And his answer was because he was driving a fancy car, a friend's car, and he was going to Spain. Oh, so that makes Tommy a terrorist? That same cop said that Tommy was giving vague answers, and so they were very curious. Vague answers to where you're going. In fact, Tommy's lawyer pointed out, using the surveillance footage, that Tommy was only in that conversation for about 31 seconds or something, and I think he was only asked that one question, where are you going? And the police said that was cause for them to detain him. And it went on from there. They detained Tommy for an enormous amount of time while they called around to other police forces in the UK, like MI5 or whatever, counterterrorism police. They were trying to get something on him from somewhere, but all these other police forces said, no, he's not a terrorist. We don't need him, thanks very little. One of the cops was asked, well, what questions did you put to Tommy under the Terrorism Act? You got yourself a possible terrorist. What did you ask him? And they never asked any questions about terrorism or terrorist activity. It was all just basically Tommy's politics and journalism, things you could find on Google. So the entire trial was proving what, I'm going to swear here, what a shit show that arrest was, how it was clearly illegal, and the idea being that if the arrest was illegal, if the detention was illegal, demanding to see his cell phone would be illegal as well. That's really what this case is going to turn on, because the law does require you to hand over your cell phone password. Tommy's argument is that it was a BS arrest, and that's certainly what it looked like to me in the courtroom, but this judge may have a different opinion. I'll be there at 10 a.m. live tweeting. It's important that I do that because all other citizen journalists have been kept out. Can you believe that? The only reason I'm allowed in is I have credentials from the Independent Press Gallery in Canada, which I showed the judge. He had like a mini hearing where he grilled me on my credentials. So, I was only allowed in because I have Canadian credentials. I'm the only citizen journalist allowed in there. The rest, like the BBC liars who were recently exposed as doctoring video footage of Donald Trump, all the liars will be in there. I think it's very important that I'm in there to provide balance. You can follow me on Twitter as I live tweet, or X as it's now called. And I have set up a website called TommyTrial.com where I'll put some videos and other thoughts TommyTrial.com. If you want to help me do this, I think it's important that I'm there to correct the liars in the regime media. I took an economy class flight from Canada. I'm staying in a very affordable hotel, but still it does add up. If you can help me cover the cost of my travel, I'd be grateful. You can do that right at TommyTrial.com, because we take no money from the government, unlike the BBC, and it shows. All right, everybody, I got to run. See you soon, and good luck to Tommy.